Hello and welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur Enlightenment TV. Here I bring you guests that have inspirational stories that have achieved impossible dreams to inspire and uplift you. Today I have a very special guest, Sean James, which is a philanthropist first because that's how we connected. And he is an MBA and a former NFL player and a businessman, and it's so many things, great things that he's doing in the world. So welcome, Sean, and please introduce yourself more formally.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I think these opportunities come through hard work and obviously through education. And obviously, as you said, we met through philanthropy, which is extremely important to me. I feel that philanthropy opens up so many different windows and so many doors for people to really connect that really have good intentions. So our relationship has obviously evolved through philanthropy, and you have me on your show now. So obviously I've done something right in your eyes. So I'm very happy to be here, and I want to thank you for having the opportunity to let me share my story.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Can you show the horse? And I put a horse on the
Yeah,
on
yeah.
my back there,
So this is
especially.
it's a horse running. I don't know if you could see it properly, but it's a little horsey, and on the outside of it, it says "Find Your Stride," and it's my philanthropy charity bracelet that I created over 15 years ago. And we both have a love for horses. I grew up around horses, and I felt like the horse was a very good representation for every young person out there, not to put yourself in a box. And the way that I look at horses are they're strong, they're powerful, and they're always moving forward. They have long hair, they have short hair, they're girls, they're boys, they're everything that epitomize power and strength. And that's what I've always wanted to be, was a thoroughbred as a young child. So I use this slogan, find your stride, because we all are going to stumble, we're all going to fall. The beauty of a horse is that they keep moving forward. So that's the slogan, and that's my charity bracelet.
Yeah, it's amazing. Find your stride. And you were saying something about early childhood. Can you share a little bit? I know you had like huge success in sports, and since then you had huge success as a businessman. But when you were a young boy and you did you know you want to become someone, if I can say it that way, or what was your drive? What moved you to achieve outstanding levels of success?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, but I'll give you my best version. I think over the years, as I've gotten older and I've answered that question, I think it's always a young boy's dream to play something in sports, especially in the Midwest or the South, because it's such a celebrated art form where we're from. I didn't grow up in the East Coast. I live in New York City now, but I grew up in the Midwest, where Friday Night Lights meant something to a lot of the culture where I grew up. And when you become good at something at an early age, it does give you the confidence to succeed in that. Now, did I know that I was going to be signing a free agent deal with the Minnesota Vikings? No. But I knew at the age of 8, and I'll give you a quick story. My dad used to come to the games, and he would never sit on with the other parents. He would always sit by the fence, and I would find him. I would always look for him, and I'd find him through my peripheral, but I always knew that he was there. And I remember the first time that I got a ball kicked to me in the beginning of the game. It's called a kickoff. And in that kickoff, I caught the ball, which is a big deal when you're 8 years old, to catch the ball in the air. Caught it, and I broke one tackle, I broke another tackle, and I took off to the races. And I remember how excited I was, because I didn't really understand and grasp all the rules of football. And I remember it was a touchdown. And I remember a flag came out, the yellow flag. And I didn't understand all that was going on, but I remember they said, no touchdown, do the play over. And I remember stomping back to do the play over, and my dad yelling out, Sean. I looked over, and my voice had a tone to it. And he said, what's wrong with you? And I said, they took my touchdown. And he goes, just do it again. In that moment, something special happened. They kicked the ball off to me again. The ball went up down through my legs. I had to run back to get the ball. I miss one tackle, I miss another tackler, and I take off. And as I'm running about 20 yards outside the end zone, everyone looked like they were in slow motion. And I knew that something that was special about my gift, which I didn't know what it might have been, probably was speed, but it was easy for me. And I knew that if I continued to do something that made me feel good like this in a town that celebrated football, that maybe one day I might be able to do something with my talents. That didn't happen until high school, though. But that's the moment that I knew that something was special about me playing football.
Wow. And what a great life lesson from your father right there and then, because we know life is not always fair and we're all not always getting whatever we think we're deserving. And to have that encouragement that you can do it again, one was a vote of confidence, but one was a big life lesson that yes, we may fail or somebody may take it from us, but we can always come back and we can always rely on our talent and to put our effort in rather than be upset, to put our effort in and do it because we can. Wonderful life lesson. And I suppose that helped you in your leadership career later on. Can you relate how, when you started to become a leader of others, how what you've learned in sports, what are your leadership principles? What makes you a great leader?
Well, I don't think anyone knows that they're a leader when they're young. I think it starts to kind of cultivate as you start to become a part of organizations or teams or sports, or even, the key club or the social club at your high school. I think there's also a likability that comes with that. I think it's something that I struggled with, just kind of being a Black kid that grew up in the Midwest in a very all-white school. And I bring up race specifically for the simple fact that I grew up in the 1970s and 80s. So it's a little bit different than it is now. So I always knew that something was different about me and I had to do things a little bit different. I wanted to be able to blend in, but it's hard to do that when you're the only Black kid in your classroom or in your high school. Even though I felt like I had something to do on this earth, I think that everybody has something to learn from someone. And I think I was just very aware of learning from other people. I started a bully organization based off the kids that were getting picked last to be a part of a kickball team. I kind of felt kind of way about them because I felt like, why was I always getting picked first? And I think a lot of people out there that don't realize this, sport, where I come from, is celebrated. And when you're good at it when you're young, it does give you the confidence to do other things in life. Unfortunately, when you're super duper smart, you might not be athletic or your talent might not be shown until later in life. You could be a great reader, you could be a novelist, you could be an actor, you could be an Elon Musk, you could be Mark Zuckerberg, or whatever it might be that you become. Sometimes that doesn't happen until later in life. I think my awareness of understanding that my intellectual properties were just as good as my talent didn't come out until later in college and later in life as an adult, because it was something that no one really wanted to celebrate, which allowed me to go to law school, which allowed me to go get my MBA, which allowed me to do these things because I didn't want the status quo of, oh, he's an athlete, that's why he's been able to do all these certain things because he was good. So, I wasn't a great pro. I only played 2.5 years, but I played in the pros. I was that 1% that actually did something extraordinary. And I think we have 5 choices in life. I always feel like when you start to think about your choices in life, you could be bad, which nobody wants to be. You could be average, which is status quo. And you can be good, which I think every God-given kid and God wants you to be good. But I think to be extraordinary and to be excellent, there's 2 letters that start with those words, EX. You got to do something extra.
Extra.
And I knew that I had to do something extra to be extraordinary. I knew I had to do something to be excellent. And that's really about a standard of everything that you do. And I started to cultivate that in college. I was lucky enough to play with good guys, good players, and a good coach and a good team. And I think when you grow up on teams, there's a standard that every team has that kind of sets a tone for your life. I could say this right now. I made my bed this morning. It's important to me. I
Mhm.
could go into your bathroom and see how clean your bathroom is. Those are standards. And when people don't buy into that, it's very hard for you to be a leader because everyone has to buy into it. So to be excellent and to be extraordinary, you have to do some extra things. You have to get up early. You have to make your bed. These are things that I think are important. And I feel that you are the same person in everything that you do,
Mhm.
right? I don't buy this that people are certain things when they're here or certain things they're at. You're not a leader then because you have to be the same person in every room. And that's where the extra intention of being extraordinary starts. And I think I bought into that early in my life to be excellent or seek excellence. And that was part of how I felt leadership was something that I wanted to make sure that I could be a part of because I don't think people go around calling themselves leaders. But
Yes.
I think it's important that when you have a bar and a standard in any company that I have equity in, there's education tied to it, and there's something that you have intentions on actually serving people to the best of your ability. If I don't have those two traits, I don't want to be a part of it. And I think that's a standard that I have for myself. And when you have that for yourself, it starts to come around you. And so that's
Mhm.
what I would probably say my standard is that we have 5 choices in life: bad, average, good, excellence, and extraordinary.
And we choose extraordinary, and that you need to do that extra to be extraordinary. And you mentioned something about being in teams. And I work with leaders that are leading teams, and there are team dysfunctions and team conflicts. And I always think when you play a sport in a team, everybody wants to win. And I'm not sure what lessons we can learn from sports team to put into the corporate leadership like teams, because sometimes when people don't collaborate, how can you win? So from your history in sports team, can you share some what happens if I don't know, if you disagree with your colleagues, how do you show up at the game? How do you leave that? Like, I'm making up stuff because I'm so
No,
curious
I
about
think
how
you're
you
onto
do it.
something because it's a very complex thing. I think one of the ways that I make money as a serial entrepreneur is going into companies and exposing the things that are not allowing them to get to that next level of excellence and extraordinary. And I think the first thing that you have to identify is that everyone has something to teach, regardless of who they are. You have to be able to understand that everyone around you can learn from. And when leaders or the CEOs or managing directors don't recognize that, and they're not assembling a team that's actually looking out for one another and holding one another accountable, and they're not buying into that standard that I talked to you earlier about, then it's never going to work. If
Mm,
someone is jealous of someone else's success, that's not a team. I can only be as good as the guy that blocks for me, right? My left tackle, my right guard, right? That's part of a team concept, right? Even though the running back gets all the praise of running the touchdown, there's other guys on the team that actually make that happen. And we all know that collectively. Most corporations don't realize that the corporation is only as good as the people that are inside of it, but it has to start with the leadership. Leadership is so important. And if you can identify that you learn from everyone, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and if you can identify that, which goes back to self-awareness, if you don't know what you're not good at, right? I feel a lot of CEOs don't know what they're good at. And because they've had some success, they don't realize that that's going to plateau because they're not doing the extra things to identify their self-awareness.
yeah.
I feel like how you do anything, as I said earlier, is how you do everything. So you can't be good one day and speak to everyone one day, and then the next day not speak to anyone, right?
Mhm.
That goes with a head coach. That goes with the standard of anything that you do in life, right? I go to the same Starbucks because I know the people there and they know that they're going to give me the best service and they're going to be kind to me,
The
right?
extra.
The extra, right? So I get weird when I don't go to my standard Starbucks because I know the drink might not be the way I like it, and I know that they're not going to smile at me. And that's energy as well, right?
Yeah.
Energy is something that literally frequency is how everything works, right? I feel like Failure in anything that we do in life, from corporate to a relationship to a marriage, is literally uncommunicated things that you want that you have not been able to share in a
Like
relationship.
uncommunicated expectations.
That's it. That's the word I couldn't have. I didn't have. Uncommunicated expectations are so important because you're expecting something from me and I'm not giving it to you, but I've never asked or told you.
Yeah.
So part of leadership is being able to sit down with every employee, right? And then say, hey, listen, am I not doing something for you? I think there's a narcissist behavior with most leaders, and which makes them not great leaders, that they're the best and everyone else is around them is literally learning from them, but they're not doing the things that it takes to say, what am I not doing for you? What can
Yeah.
I work on to give you, to make you feel like you're better and you're a safe environment so you can excel and spread your wings and I get the best out of you? If we could do that collectively, because I've been able to do it in football, basketball, track and field, anything that I've ever been a part of with great teams and great leaders, also tie into corporate America, tie into any team that you've ever been on in any kind of work that you've ever done. And I think as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that a lot of people say, I love being an entrepreneur, but they need to also realize this. Love is not a feeling, okay? It's something that you do spite what you feel, right?
Mhm.
That means that you're going to do it regardless of what you feel. And
Yeah.
that's what separates the guys that are doing really good, are great or extraordinary and excellence versus the guys that are just status quo, right? Because they just think they love their job and that's not it. Love is something that's beyond just feeling. It's something that you do beyond what you feel and you do it anyway.
Yeah,
And that's
it's who you are. It's your beingness. Like if somebody will forbid you to do it, you won't be able to feel like you're you and that you are fulfilling your purpose and your destiny and what you're here to do. I understand. Very good points about leadership. So self-awareness, I heard, is very important for a leader to know what they're good at, to know what they're not good at, and to embrace that everyone in the team has value, everyone on the team can teach them something, and to surround yourself with people who are on a common goal, right? Like in a sports team, everybody wants to win the game. So everybody is working towards that. And the same would be, we hope to be in a corporate setting and in a team that wants to achieve something. And that's why I believe the more we can talk about everyone's fulfilling their own purpose, even if they are not the leader, they are in the team and they're fulfilling their purpose through the jobs, through the work they do. I feel that everyone has a common goal to make this world a better place in the end.
yeah. I think too, I want to make sure that I get this soundbite that, don't mistake being present for showing up. I think a lot of people show up and they think that that's it. There's a big difference between showing up and being present, right?
Mm.
Showing up means that you're willing to do the work and you want to learn. You want to get better every day, right? And I look at showing up as an asset. Presence is a liability. You're just there.
Mm.
Liability, presence, showing up, you're an asset because you're
Yeah.
there to learn. You're curious about what's going on and you want to get better. I think it's also very important that you understand what courage is.
Mm.
As courage is not the absence of fear, but it's how you handle fear, right? Courage is literally like doing the things that you literally are scared to do, but you know that when you do them, you're on the other side of it and you can
Mm.
never look back, right?
Mm.
That's why, the front window is much bigger than the rear view window because
Mhm.
once you've gone through that fear, there's
Mm.
nothing but good things to see, right? You can
Mhm.
see the horizon because that
Yeah.
fear got you back here and you keep looking through the rear view mirror and it's very small. So you got to let that go and keep moving forward. And I feel like, success is also, the work that you are avoiding doing. I've had that, there's a
Mm.
lot of things that I
You
want to
can share
do.
a story? Huh.
Well, I started to talk about law school. A lot of people don't know that I went to law school, but I dropped out. And
Ah.
it's around someone maybe a month ago. And I never really bring it up because it's something that I feel bad about that I did, and there was certain circumstances. But there was many opportunities for me to go back, and I didn't. So those are the things that literally success is what you want to do, is the work, and it's the work that you're avoiding. You
Mm-hmm.
went back and did that. And I think everyone, if you're thinking about something that you know you didn't do or you didn't complete, right? And that's kind of a mindset and a culture that I come from, finish. Like I didn't get to quit anything, even if I didn't like it. And the number one thing that I learned as a child is I don't care how you feel or what happened. How did you behave in that moment?
Yeah.
Because behavior is extremely important in everything that you do, right? So the success you want is the work that you avoid doing. I didn't finish that. And I want to be vulnerable on this television episode to tell you that that's something that I regret, that I didn't finish. Who says that I'm not going to,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're thinking about something that you haven't finished, don't avoid it. Put it on your refrigerator, put it in your mirror. I need to finish this.
Yes.
Because it's nothing but time and opportunity.
Yeah.
Finish it. You
Yeah.
did it. I went on to get my MBA, which I did at 40 years old, right? 15 years ago. But it was just time and opportunity. And not that those things are they're milestones for me, but the reason that I did them is that if anyone was able to say, how hard was that to do? I could tell them it's a matter of just doing it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what separates successful people from unsuccessful people. They just don't stop. They just get up and they continue to go, right? Because every successful person will be able to tell you that there were so many things that happened. There were so many roadblocks that were stood in front of them that they were like, no one knows that I didn't finish this, so I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Do it, finish it, even if it's personal, even if no one has to know about it. And that's a good leader.
Yes.
We're going back to leadership. Those are all good qualities of a good leader. And if we can get the expectations of our employees, the people that work for us, to buy into that standard, because I'm not getting off track. It all starts with standard.
Yeah.
My bed this morning, right? I clean the pee around my toilet. It's important to me,
Uh-huh.
right? Those are standards. My kitchen is clean, right?
Yeah.
If you can't do that at home and you're trying to be a leader, you're fooling yourself, man. You have to be the same person everywhere that you go. And
Mm-hmm.
people see that, right?
Yes.
I see it, right? Now I'm in the position to recruit leaders because I see those certain small things that are detailed, which separates a Lamborghini from a Corvette. They're both just
Mm-hmm.
they're just cars, but they're details that separate the two of them.
Yes. I love how you share that. And I love the fact that you brought up courage, because when others look from outside to people who had success, they think that everything is easy. But every day we face the options to have courage and move through something you don't know, or to hide it. And true leaders and people who feel a calling to do something good for the world, they have to bring that courage up maybe every day, because
Yeah.
when the bigger the things you do, the more courage it requires, and the more you advance yourself, the more, like, there is no such a thing that you're like cool and you don't need any courage, or you don't need to push yourself to the next level of excellence, only if you stay in the comfort zone. But most people that I talk to, and you're confirming that, they want to advance, they want to progress, they want to go back, finish some unfinished things. They
Yes.
want to feel that they live a life in integrity with who they are and what they know they are here to do and be. And you're a role model for so many people, and I know you, like, through your philanthropy to young people as well. And I feel like you standing in your integrity and doing what you feel it's right for you, like to go back and finish. I think that's a very great role model, because you don't have to for the external world, but you want it for you, for yourself.
Yeah. I want to say this too. I think it's important because as we're speaking, obviously, I have things that I want to say, but a lot of times they come in a conversation, right? That's why
Yes.
it be organic. I think the person that you most listen to is yourself, right? Just say that out loud. The person that you most listen to is yourself. And there was a time, probably right after the pandemic, where I started to lose respect for myself.
Oh,
And when you do that, it's over. So you have to be able to respect yourself in a way that you know that the best thing in the world is for you to do that over and over and over. You cannot disrespect yourself. You have to be able to understand that the most important thing in life is your self-respect and the things that you say to yourself. One more thing I want to think about.
yes, it's very good.
Manifestation is so important, right? As a professional athlete, as a business owner, you have to manifest the things that you want to happen.
Yes.
And let me explain something to you. There's something called 10,000 reps. I've caught 10,000 footballs. So in my sleep, I know that I have the ability to catch a football because I've done it in my sleep 1,000 times before it actually happens. These same things happen in life. If you manifest those things and you, as I said earlier, the person that you listen to and spend more time with than anyone in the world is yourself.
Yeah.
You have to manifest those things for them to happen. If you're manifesting doubt, I can't take a risk, I'm comfortable, this is easy, so I'll stick with it, you will stay in the same place. And what I tell you, let's go back to my 5 things: bad, average, good, excellence, and extraordinary. We have a choice, right? When you look around yourself, what have you picked? Because we understand as humans, we also think that everyone's looking at us. Let me tell you something. No one's looking at you.
They're looking at themselves.
Looking at themselves. No one's looking at you. I could say that. You know, I think about the things I post on Instagram. No one's looking at you, guy. No one cares, right? So you have to get over that and start to manifest the things that you want for yourself. And when you manifest the things that you want for yourself, you will get them based off you doing it over and over and over. You got that repetition because now everything that I just said, the person that you spend the most time with is yourself. And if you lose respect for yourself, you'll never be able to get the things that you want in life. People
Yes.
that have more than you know more than you, and they're doing more than you. That's the only difference. Let me say that again. People that know more than you, that are doing more than you, have more than you because they're doing the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes, very good points. Very good points you're making. And in your career, like where you are now, I know you're involved in many things. What is something, or what are few of the things that you want to talk about? Like, what are your interests right now? What are you working on? And what is something that you can leave the audience with?
I'm a serial entrepreneur, so there's so many things that I do. My day-to-day is tax mitigation, life insurance. I do a lot of financial services for either entrepreneurs or high net worth people that are usually looking to figure out how to save on taxes. I've been doing that for 25 years.
Wow.
As a serial entrepreneur, it's very important for me that I'm tied to philanthropy. I think that so many companies and entrepreneurs don't look at philanthropy as marketing to the community, right? One thing that I do know that we do things better together than we do by ourselves. So
True.
it's important that you look for philanthropy within your community and use them to help you and you help them, and you'll move the needle quicker than you ever thought you could in your business. I don't care if it's service, I don't care if you're a paint company, right? Word of mouth of what you do tied to philanthropy gets out quickly. So that's a very important part of me being a serial entrepreneur. One of the companies that I have it's called BYS. It's a supplement that you take before you start to drink alcohol.
Mm.
It was a Korean-based company that came over here. They asked me to be involved. I bought into it.
Mhm.
Um, I changed the standards of what I thought it could be, and we're doing great things right now. So that's one thing. It's called BYS Wellness. It's called Before You Start. You can find it online or at Amazon. And another thing that I'm doing is I'm going into a lot of different uh, technology around wellness.
Mm.
Hopefully, I can't really talk about a lot of it because there's things I don't know about yet.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's based around air and oxygen, on how
Hmm.
we rehabilitate the way that we breathe. Another thing that I'm tied into is it's called biohack. It is fitness slash wellness program for high net worth executives that don't have a lot of time, and athletes that
Uh-huh.
literally go in and get um, 2 weeks worth of workouts in one session based off all the things that they do. They take your blood work, they understand your oxygen, they understand
Wow.
your chemical imbalances. And it's been extremely extraordinary over the last month for me because I have a lot of injuries. And so it's been something that I've been slowly marketing and trying to find everything out about it so I can actually sell it in a way that I believe in it.
Wow, that's so exciting. Wellness is so important, right? Because we can build companies and this and that, but if we don't have like our own well-being, then it's kind of for nothing. We have to enjoy what we do and also enjoy life through our well-being. If you had a billboard and you can share your message to the world, what is that one message that you would put on a billboard?
Hmm. I have so many. I mean, you follow me on Instagram. I try to do my own tweets or my own motivational things. I mean, some of
Mhm.
them I take from other people and I spin it, but man, there's so many things I could say. I'll give you, I'll give you three.
Okay.
Okay.
You can have three billboards.
The success you want is the work you avoid doing. Period. You got to do the work, right? I always tell people, I was on a podcast maybe a year ago, and this kid was young, and he was like, "Hey, man, you still look like you're in good shape. What do you do?" And he goes, "Can you give us some hacks for our abs because the summer's coming?" And I remember just stopping myself and saying, there is no hacks. You have to do the work. And why that's so extraordinary, when that guy takes his shirt off or that girl takes his shirt off, everyone knows, everyone, you, me, people aren't even looking, that he did something extra. He ate better than you. He worked out harder than you, and he took care of himself. You
Mhm.
got to do the, and that's why we are such in awe of the guy that has abs, because he did something extra.
Yeah.
There's no shortcut to that. I think the next one would be everyone has something to teach you, regardless of who they are. Um, I find myself all the time in rooms where someone might not be competent as they think they are, or there's someone that knows more than me. And I'd love to be in those rooms.
Mhm.
Humble yourself. Ego has destroyed many men.
Mhm.
And I think as men in today's society, it's tough out there. There's a
Mhm.
lot going on, and we are all jockeying for a position. As I said, kill the noise and respect yourself, right? And then the last one would probably be the number one reason for failure in business and life is uncommunicated expectations.
Mhm.
You have to be able to sit down with your employees, with your loved one, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, with your husband, and don't expect them to read your mind. You have to articulate exactly what you're feeling. And believe me, it will help in the long run. It will help your colleagues. It would help your employees. It will help your relationship. We think that we just are, well, I told you that. No, you didn't. Well,
Mhm.
you get it. Why didn't you pick up on it? No, it
Mhm.
doesn't work that way. Make time. I have weekly meetings. Make time to talk to one another and know that you need to be vulnerable as a leader. Let people be able to tell you exactly what you can do to help them. Because
Mhm.
if I don't know what I can do to help you, even though as smart as I think I am, the most experience as I do have, that doesn't matter if you're not getting through to that person. And I would say the last thing would be education is to know, experience is to do. Go out there and experience things,
Yeah.
right? I don't care how much education you have. I don't care that you're a lawyer, or you went to Harvard and went to Yale or MIT. If you haven't done anything in the world, you could go to a JC, you can go to a high school, you could be whatever you want to be, but you have to experience it. I
Yes.
mean food, I mean people, I mean relationships. And then I would also tie in association.
Mm.
Uh, Association is important because association brings you deals and it brings you wisdom. If you're around smarter people and people that are getting things done, it'll lift you up to their level,
Yeah.
right? And that's what you want to be. You don't always want to be the smartest guy in the room,
No.
right? I want to learn every single day on things that I don't know. And I always say I don't know anything, but I know some things because I have some experience, because I
Yeah.
put myself out there to fail. I've taken some risk. I'm willing to get bitten by the dog because I know it's going to heal if I know that I can learn something or I can experience something great.
Yes. Wow. This is like so much wisdom packed such a short time. Thank you so much for being with me, Sean, and for sharing a lifetime of worth of wisdom in those sound bites. And is there any message that didn't come out? Is there anything? What would you want to leave the audience with? Do you want them to reach out to you, follow you,
Yeah,
do something?
obviously, there's always an opportunity, I think, in philanthropy and business for me. So if there's someone is looking for leadership within their organization, if it's coaching or some type of consultant, I'm willing and able to do that. I've done it for 25 years. I think I have a lot of experience in different sectors in business to be able to give that. But I think, as I said earlier, if you just listen to this television recording, you'll understand that everything starts with the standard. And you have to ask yourself, where's your standard? Because your standard might not be where it should be. And I think that's the levels of I always say there's levels to this, right? Always levels to this, right?
Mhm.
That's why there's high school, college, and the pros. There's
Mhm.
levels to this, and I look at life that way. So yeah, if there's anyone that is looking to tie anything to philanthropy, like you and I are with our horses and children, if it's something that's tied to leadership, I speak on leadership throughout the country to Fortune 500 companies. So I have, the experience to be able to do that. And if that's something that can motivate people to come out and reach out to me, please do.
And I hope they do, because this was an extraordinary episode. It was packed with words of wisdom, and I didn't interrupt you so much because I wanted you to get this. You are a person who are both educated and have the experience from the field, the real life experience. And I feel for the audience, if you love this episode, I think you may want to go watch it again, because I think making notes and a lot of wisdom to be learned. I want to be extraordinary. I hope you want to be extraordinary, and keep that courage positive. Remember some of the thoughts that Sean has shared with you, and show up every day and do your work, make the world a better place. And I hope to see you for the next episode.